One of my favorite old books is The Ladder of Divine Ascent by John Climacus. It starts like this: Our God and King is good, ultra good, and all good. It is best to begin with God in writing to the servants of God. Maybe John was thinking of the Creed, because that's exactly how it begins, with one God, the Father Almighty. In chapter 3, we finally begin to explore the Creed itself. Now, the Nicene Creed is broken into 4 sections or articles. And the first article goes like this: We believe in one God, the Father Almighty, maker of heaven and earth, and all things visible and invisible. There's a lot to digest here, so much that it'll take more than one chapter. But did you notice how the Creed begins? Before speaking of God or heaven or earth or anything in between, the Creed starts with 2 words: we believe. We believe. Not we reasoned, not we proved or felt or even experienced. We believe. So what does it mean to believe? And why put believing before everything else? The answers to these questions are in the chapter. But I've noticed something. As Christians, it's so easy to put what we believe in a box. Beliefs are for church, not for work or school or everyday life. But chapter 3 opens with a quote by Rufinus that takes that kind of thinking and blows it out of the water. He said this: nothing can possibly be done or remain stable unless belief precedes. Nothing gets done without believing first. See, beliefs are everywhere. Farmers plant seeds believing for a harvest. Politicians run for office believing they will make a difference. The last time I was in New York, I bought a subway ticket believing the train would be on time. The question isn't if we believe, it's what we believe. I think it was Clement of Alexandria who said that beliefs are practical, not theoretical. And see, that's the point of this chapter. How do we live like we believe in one God, who's the all-powerful creator of everything around us? Something that I wish I addressed in the chapter, but wasn't able to, is the first word. We believe, not I believe. Now, sometimes when we're together at church, reciting the Creed, we may personalize it and say I. But the original pronoun is plural. It's we believe. And that's so important. For 2,000 years, Christians have believed the same foundational truths. And one of the goals of this book is to help us remember that. There was a time where I didn't know anything about the Christians who went before us. And my faith suffered because of that. My dad's family is Roman Catholic, and I can still remember the first time that I went to Mass with them as a child. There was a point during the service when the priest started naming saint after saint after saint, and the last name I remember hearing was Saint Basil. And then I started laughing uncontrollably in the middle of church. And my parents gave me one of those, straighten up or else looks, but I don't know. I didn't understand why no one else got the joke. Then I grew up, and instead of laughing at Basil, I read what he had to say. And what I read hurt. Basil may have had a funny name and lived in a time before iPhones. But if I was being honest with myself, He knew Christ better than I did. I had something to learn from him. I want to challenge you as you read this chapter and the chapters to come to listen to the voices of those who went before us. If you've even stepped foot in church before, then there's very little in the creed that will be brand new to you. But I guarantee you, beliefs like the Trinity, incarnation, crucifixion, and resurrection will mean so much more to you with the historic perspective of those who lived and died for these beliefs. I believe, yeah, it matters. But we believe, well, that's the power of the creed.